Welcome back to Clarkspoon TV, where we have been providing quality tackle since 1927. There's a lot of excitement around the beach as we move into the spring fishing season, as we patiently wait for Spanish mackerel, bluefish, and Atlantic bonito to invade our beaches. Today we'll be giving you the top 3 lures and how to set them up to have a successful day on the water. Let's get started. All right, the 3 baits that we'll be talking about today. First will be your Planer and Clarkspoon. This will be your subsurface bait. Then we'll move into a surface bait, which is your bird rig or the mini bar for Clarkspoon. And then we'll move into your casting jigs. Here we have a stick jig and a Clarkspoon shad jig. All right, the first bait we'll be talking about is your subsurface bait. This is a Planer and Clarkspoon combo, which is a very popular trolling method for a variety of species like Spanish mackerel and bluefish. We have this paired with a conventional setup. This is a TLD 15, but it'll also work great with a heavier spinning setup. Planers are great because it gives you the ability to get your bait down into the water column. A number 1 planer will usually keep your bait between 8 and 12 feet under the surface. Attached to this planer, you will have your 15 to 30 feet of mono or fluorocarbon leader, and that'll be attached to your spoon. These come in different sizes and colors depending on what those predator fish are feeding on. This bait is made to spin and make erratic movements in the water, initiating a bite. If you have questions on how to properly set up a Planer and Clarkspoon, I will have a link in the description that'll go to a video that goes into a lot more detail on how to properly rig this bait. We've covered our subsurface bait with the Planer and Clarkspoon setup. In your trolling layout, you want to have a surface type bait. With that, we're going to be using the Clarkspoon bird rig. This bird is made to be trolled behind the boat and it skips across the surface, creating erratic movements or a splashing effect which mimics feeding predator fish. Behind the bird, you have your Clarkspoon. You can also attach a mackerel tree as well. It has a lot of different variety you can do and is very effective for surface feeding fish. We also use a mini bar. This is the same concept. It's trolled behind the boat and skips across the top of the surface. This mimics bait fish being chased by predator fish. Again, behind your rig, you will have attached a Clarkspoon, mackerel tree, just personal preference on what you'd like to use. These are 2 great baits to have in your trolling spread for your surface type feeding. The last bait we'll be talking about is probably the most important, and it's your casting jigs. This is a Clarkspoon stick jig, probably the most versatile bait that you can have on your boat. We use this bait for casting, jigging, and trolling. Predominantly it's used for casting to busting Spanish mackerel, bluefish, false albacore, and Atlantic bonito, but we can also turn around and drop this same bait down and jig for big gray trout and black sea bass. It's really versatile and really easy to use. We usually pair it with a 7-foot medium to light action rod and a 2,500 to 3,000 size reel. Again, a very versatile bait and something really important to have tied on your boat before every trip. Thank you guys for tuning in to Clarkspoon TV. I hope you learned some valuable information that you can use on your next fishing trip. If you have any questions on the lures or techniques we talked about today, please drop them in the comments. You can find all the lures we talked about today as well in the description. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.